Hello everybody, this is Refresh and I'm here to take a look at Fantasy Flight Supply's Tarot board game size clear sleeves, and that is for cards size 70 by 120 millimeters. And you can buy one package of these for $4.99 MSRP, and that will get you 50 sleeves, which means that the average cost per sleeve is 10 cents per sleeve, making this tied for the most expensive sleeves that you can purchase for tarot board game size cards. Now this might be acceptable if the quality is superb. To find out, let's take a look at what's inside. As you can see, these sleeves are glossy and smooth on both sides. Now let's make sure that there are 50 sleeves here. That is exactly 50 sleeves, nothing missing. Now we're going to check the thickness of the sleeves. 50 sleeves comes in at a little over 1 centimeter, which means that each sleeve is 200 microns thick, or 100 microns each face, which is the standard for these thicker sleeves that you can purchase. Now let's check the dimensions. These sleeves are 73 millimeters wide by 123 millimeters tall. Now to see how a card fits inside, I have one Century Spice Road card here, which is tarot sized, and we'll put it inside the sleeve. Alright, the fit is about fine. There's not actually that much space between the opening of the sleeve and the top edge of the card, which is something that Fantasy Flight tends to actually do, is to create a lot of space. So this is a little different than normal for their sleeves. There's a little bit more play between the edge of the sleeve and the sides of the card itself. So this is one of those things where you're going to have to gauge whether you prefer the aesthetic cleanness of the fact that there's not a lot of visible plastic here, or you prefer the extra protection of having more space between the opening of the sleeve and the top edge of the card, because as you can see, the top edge of the card is quite visible from here, and I imagine that it won't take much for something to touch the top edge of the card should something unfortunate happen in handling. Alright, now it's time for the sleeve test. I have 45 Century Spice Road cards here, and I'm going to put them in 45 of these sleeves, and we'll see how long it takes. Ready, set, go. Okay, that took 1 minute and 55 seconds to sleeve these 45 cards, and that is a fairly moderate speed of 2.56 seconds per card sleeved. Now, I didn't have any problems sleeving these cards. I noticed that the cards slipped in pretty easily without any issues, and so I think that the sleeving process for this is not going to be significantly different from most other card sleeves of this size. Now let's check for the consistency and uniformity out of the pack. These sleeves are very uniform on the sides and very uniform on the tops, so they don't have any noticeably different widths or heights, which is good in terms of their consistency. And now let's check to see how consistent they are from sleeve to sleeve in terms of their production quality. I noticed this while sleeving the cards, but these sleeves are very clean and clear looking. There's not any significant warping on them, and they are very pristine out of the pack. So I think that the quality of the sleeves directly out of the package is very high, and that is one of the reasons why perhaps it has the more expensive cost. Now it's time for the shuffle test. I'm gonna shuffle these sleeved cards 100 times and see how long it takes. Ready, set, go. Alright, it took 2 minutes and 31 seconds to shuffle these 100 times, and that is a pretty average speed of 1.51 seconds per shuffle. I found that the overall shuffling feel of these sleeves was pretty decent. There was nothing that overperformed, nothing that felt amazing, but also nothing that I found very deficient. And as usual for these larger cards, if you have smaller hands like mine, you can feel a little strain as you're mass shuffling. But for the most part, I didn't really see any resistance for the sleeves sliding into each other as you mass shuffle them. And so I was pretty impressed with the overall shuffle feel. There wasn't any significant resistance. I mean, there is a little bit of resistance when you are putting the sleeves into each other, but that's pretty common for sleeves of this kind, so I didn't really notice anything amiss about that. And you can also shuffle these with a riffle shuffle as well. These don't bend quite as well, so it's not the best riffle shuffle, but that's alright. Now that I have handled these sleeves quite a bit, let's go ahead and take a look to check for any wear and to evaluate their potential long-term durability. Okay, I think that these sleeves look just about as good as when I first opened them. I don't really notice any scuffing at all. I don't notice any bent corners. None of the sleeves split, and it seems like none of them developed any dents either, and so I think that the quality of these sleeves is actually very high, and I feel like the long-term durability of these sleeves is going to be probably slightly above average. And so maybe that is one more reason why these sleeves warrant their significantly more expensive price at 10 cents per sleeve. Now it's time to do the shake test. I have stacked these sleeved cards into a deck. I'm going to shake the table they're on for a couple seconds and see if the deck holds up. Ready, set, go. The deck barely budged, and so I think that this is an easy pass. Like many of these decks, you can probably knock it over if you really hit the deck pretty hard, but these are pretty big cards, so I feel like it's going to be difficult to do so. Now it's time for the draw test. I'm going to draw 3 cards off the top here and see how well the deck holds up under the act of drawing. Ready, set, go. This deck does not even move. Like, the top card barely even moves when you draw a card off the top. So I think that this is going to be a very stable deck, and I don't really anticipate that anyone's going to experience any issues with handling with these sleeves. So what do I think about Fantasy Flight's tarot size card sleeves? Well, I think that they are pretty high quality. I think that of the sleeves I've tested so far, they are the best looking in terms of their overall quality, consistency, and uniformity out of the pack. They also show the least amount of wear and give me the least concern in terms of their wear. And I think the handling of the sleeves, even if it's not top-notch in terms of their shuffling and their sleeving, I do think that it is still quite good and perfectly acceptable, not within any major difference in terms of being an outlier in their handling. So I think that these are very solid sleeves. But other than that, I mean, these sleeves are still expensive. At 10 cents per sleeve, I think you'll really want to value the aesthetic quality of these sleeves in terms of how good they look out of the pack, and as well as the long-term durability. Now, I haven't tested these over months of use or anything like that, so I can't say for certain that they're going to hold up for a very long time. However, I do find that these sleeves are of pretty good quality, and I would recommend them if you are looking for the highest quality sleeve and price is not an issue. Let me know what your thoughts are about these sleeves, if you have any experience with them, in the comments below. And if you have any experience with tarot size sleeves in general, I also have links in the description box below, and you can click on those to share your experience, and that will be shared at the Innit Games' resource page. If you found this video helpful, hit the like button. If you'd like to see more such videos, hit subscribe. This was Refresh. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.